he thinks his business model's better. I think fundamentally it's not even like so, like as I go through and I work with these companies, right? It's like I get to spend 8 weeks working with them weekend after week, and it's like, I mean, I'm not like in some aspects like I'm not deep diving into their tech or like different things, but I get to like learn character, right? And like small things like if you can't make meetings, or there's certain particular one company I'm working with that didn't tell me like they're running out of their burn rate, and there's just certain things of like I don't really think he's trustworthy. I'm not going to put him in front of investors.
You're running out of money since you didn't tell
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what I say. So like we had last week, we had one on accounting and finance, and I said, listen, I understand, right? Because I've done bookkeeping, right? I've done a lot of work where I just fix people's books, right? And it's like, I'm here to tell you right or wrong. I want to take you to task on it. It's just like, if there's a problem, let's figure it out before we try to go to investors. Because the last thing I want to do is put all this work into you, and then we get into due diligence, and it fails for something really stupid. Like, we also had one on, I guess it's the same one we were talking about, filing your taxes and some really basic things.
There's these things that are indicators of the character and attention to detail and ethics and follow through. We're part of Plug and Play. We're not located there anymore.
Yeah.
But, we're an anchor partner in the insurance accelerator. And they had a pitch in December, and I saw this among companies that I had interest in. There was one that I didn't get to connect face to face with the guy after the pitch, and he left. So I went to the website and did the contact us deal. Someone want to talk, because as a partner or an anchor partner, you have access to the startups. That's the point of exposing them. And I waited a month and no one ever responded to the contact us. So I went to Plug and Play folks, and I said, "You have a direct email for this guy?" So they sent me the CEO's email. I sent him an email, and then 2 weeks later, still no response. So, I let the Plug and Play folks know these people aren't following up. They said, "Well, we can connect you. We can call the guy and tell him to call you." I said, "I'm no longer interested."
Yeah. No, I'd be so frustrated if I had to.
I said, "Must have fallen through the cracks." Not a good sign.
Yeah.
And I moved on.
I mean, I'm dealing that with a friend of mine who's the CTO of a company called Roostify, and it's like he originally offered us space, and it's like, oh yeah, we just got this new great space. You should come and you should run your program out of here, and we'll figure out how to kind of do a partnership. And I'm like, great. And then he just dropped off the face of the earth. And then I just saw him this last weekend, and I was like, man, it's like you're the CTO of a company. And I also reached out to his co-founder or the CEO, and I invited him for next week's, start a founder panel. Yeah. And it's fine, because when I reached out to people like, the founder of Robinhood and eShares, and kind of down the list, they all turned me down, but at least they got back. I was like, I'd rather hear it.
But to lead young and then fall off the face.
Yeah, check. Should I keep the door open? Yeah. Also go get wine, back chili.
All right, so your nose chili intrigued me.
Abhishek is one of our companies. This is Bill. He'll be one of our speakers. He's with State Farm.
Nice to meet you. What's your company?
Crowdify.
Crowdify? Talk about it.
So we have built AI and ML based artificial intelligence and machine learning based platform to help investors invest on various alternate assets, which originate
alternate to what?
Alternate assets to a common class like equities and bonds.
So what would be an alternate asset?
Mostly loans originated on online lending platforms, like consumer loans, real estate loans, student loans, small business loans.
So you like package up?
No, actually we invest in individual loans. And we help you analyze those, find the best loan across platforms, and invest completely for you if you don't know how to invest based on your risk profile.
Where do the loans originate?
Various online platforms like Ross or
They're selling papers selectively?
Oh no, at least we have access to each and every loan.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
So they're not secretly junk?
No, so they are issued at common times, 4 times a day, and we have access to.
Are they doing that to spread the risk and increase capacity? Why are they selling their loans?
No, that's what their model is. They're not balancing their marketplace, so they just match borrowers and
they're off it right away.
Yeah. So they basically their thing is they just make fees. So they don't take a balance sheet.
Why?
That's their model.
I wonder how much they trust their underwriting on the loan, or they just need.
So that's their business model. That's how they started. It was nothing to do with underwriting. Because if they don't have a good underwriting model, nobody will use them. So basically, the premise is they provide your rating also based on that they determine the risk and interest rate. So if you don't believe it, you won't invest because the interest rate is fixed. We determine that.
So your company uses AI and ML
Yes,
to find
best loans in that market.
the sweet spots among their population.
Yeah, and depending on your profile. So it depends on you as a
My risk tolerance,
Exactly.
profile that I want, duration,
All
collateral.
of that.
So who would a customer for your product be?
Mostly fund managers or high net worth individuals who are looking to add, if you're a fixed income credit exposure or hedge fund, looking to add another asset to your sort of asset class, or a high net worth individual or family office looking to add another asset class. We completely customize the bylaws.
Does the data about the loan need to be in a certain format for you to be able to analyze?
So we usually work only with online lending platforms because they provide us APIs.
So you're not buying Wells Fargo, you're buying Lending Club.
Yeah, so basically the good part about those is they're completely transparent. From a origination perspective, they give us on each and every underwriting, and then they give us monthly data. So as soon as the loan payment happens, updated FICO and payment information, we get it every time. So we are able to track the loan, we update the pricing and the loan rating, so you as an investor are completely transparent.
Does your review of the loan include exogenous information?
Like
Tickets and current employment status?
No, not
social media
no.
information? So nothing beyond what was in the original loan file?
Yes, and the updated FICO.
And why not more?
So that's not allowed under SEC. Whatever people use, as soon as they become big, they will have to stop. I worked in banking for 15 years.
Yeah.
That's not.
So if the person has lost their job,
So that's if you have already originated the loan, it's different. Now, if you have already originated the loan, then it doesn't matter. It's just your risk is gone.
right, but if you identify that before it's been sold or before it's been traded again on your share market, that would be relevant to the purchaser, but it can't be known, it isn't part of the consideration.
So it's very hard to know that. It is very hard unless until someone who lost the job comes up.
See direct deposit stock. Some of them monitor banking, or it's the same organization.
But I have to explicitly give you that permission.
We do.
Like I'm saying as a borrower, I have to.
Well, you did when you purchased the loan, when you applied for the loan originally.
Only at the time of original. I did not give you that permission. Yeah, it's usually not hard.
Because I know when I got a mortgage with BFA last year, they checked twice with the employer, once the front end and once the back end of the issuance.
So I'm grateful that part. Thank you.
We did. It was very thorough.
Yeah.
I had to provide information and then.
So I couldn't be
because
okay.
it took so long.
And I was settling all the lawsuits for all the RMPs we did. And the biggest problem was the manufacturing part. If I had total settlement value for
How you
my
doing?
settlement for all
Nice to see you.
that divided that was stock.
Certainly.
If I start with 70 million,
2 hours this time.
fraud was basically
You know.
15 billion, but 40 to 45 was manufacturing.
So is that fraud from
Four
the
at four.
brokers or fraud?
Brokers and the borrowers,
And
but
the collusion.
yeah, but all of it was just incompetent.
I know, actually, probably would have, it would have been okay, would have had a lot.
So I was part of the committee.
I probably could have gotten here.
I don't like it, actually, it's still very relaxed.
It is.
All right.
I'll make it.
So,
Yeah, I'll make it.
Provide the guidance on.
See, the problem BFA has as a bank is
so are you, so what are
the
you doing
comp
about
structure
listing these things?
in the
Are you,
branches doesn't motivate the
just to the group?
underwriter or the
You saw my
originator
note about
to really
that.
do the due
This line.
diligence around it. They just have, so that is the pain point. Me as a sort of credit guy or a policy guy, sort of sitting in this treasuries and all, I can't impact that. So the only thing I have to do is reduce the buy box, make it smaller and all. And then they come back and say, hey, we are not reducing it. No, that's okay. I'll do this, but it will happen. But,
So how far along are you?
so we launched our platform in November. We are looking to quantify.
But no, you said something that I don't remember it being.
How many people do you have?
So we have an API team.
I posted those.
Three of us reach out and sort of model who will do those models. Two of them are developers, one of them is experts.
That was
And
some
we have
I
a-
can't even tell from the slides what it was, but I just wouldn't want to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you say?
We're getting
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure. Are you happy with how it works?
Yeah, I think when your card is there, we have 100%. Everybody loves that. From a, look at it. Yeah, even when we demoed it to Lemon, we have to like, your product was better. And they said, okay, that's good.
Great.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bill with State Farm.
Hi, Lori Vanderloo.
How are you,
Nice
Lori?
to meet you. I'm,
co-panelists.
yeah.
Used to be a Visa, right?
That's right, yeah, I was there for a number of years.
In the city here, at the Innovation Center?
Maybe you have an answer for this, maybe not.
Well,
You
that
used-
was one,
okay.
then I actually
You look good.
started, among other things,
Thanks. The problem is it's supposed to be coming out of that camera. Any idea?
Yeah, so I did the original design.
Were you in
So-
Boston City?
So technically, Foster City.
There has to be a
has
setting
office,
somewhere,
we
yeah?
have two other offices.
There it is, there it is.
One line, that's a nice location.
Yeah, we've been over to.
Yeah, a
City
couple
Center.
years, yeah.
Yeah, my old colleague.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
My
Perfect. I'm glad I asked.
wall.
You good? I'm good. Okay,
Yeah.
so I saw your, so when you say Lori, you're talking about my wife Elizabeth.
Yes, sorry.
I saw a couple, I was like, I don't know who I think he's referencing her, but I'm not 100%
It is
sure.
Elizabeth.
It's Elizabeth. No, not a big deal. I was kind of going like, is this somebody he knows or somebody?
Yeah.
But yes,
Did you see the news?
I did.
It's way more expensive.
Yes. Is that good?
It's, like for me,
It's good. Okay.
It's
That's the
a-
only thing that matters, right?
Yeah, no,
I-
so-
So I
what I-
thought at the end there was some question marks, right? I know.
yeah, the closing.
Yeah.
So,
Step by one, it seems like we're like building the road as we go.
yeah, so the way it is I just said, do a cold call. Now I have sort of put all the scenarios in and sort of various methods. So like, if I'm doing a cold email, then these are the chains.
Yeah.
If I'm doing an email through introduction, that's the chain.
So how do you feel about this?
I love it actually. I
I
sort
think
of
we've come a
that
long
one.
ways, right?
Yeah, that one plus so I took the document and I had that list and I converted to a different doc called collateral. So if I can sort of,
I
at
feel
least
like
it
we're
gives,
building process, right?
Yeah,
This is
it's-
how things work, right?
yeah,
It's like
that
sort of
one. And the other
mystery.
part is it at least gives me a definite list to know after and what I can't.
Yeah, I think the other thing is like, prioritize.
Prioritize it and
what
then
needs
go
to be
after
done.
things which I need. Previously, I was just in sort of this whole amoeba thing. I had no clue what's happening and all.
Yeah.
No, but I think sending out emails has helped a lot.
Yeah, that sounds
So
like it.
I have
It's
three
I
calls
didn't
on
get home
Thursday.
early enough last night to do, I had a list of mine that I was gonna send out as well.
So I have 3 calls on Thursday.
Yeah, look at you. Yes, we've come a long way.
Yeah, 10 a.m., 11:30, and then
Awesome.
1.
It's awesome. Yeah, let's keep it up,
Mhm.
right?
I had a call with.
So I mean, the next thing is, right, like some X number of, like.
Yeah, I just need to
we-
convert one. So like today morning, I had the call with Eli Global, the guys who buy out. So
Okay.
the first thing he said is we completely buy out or buy majority stake, so like 80%. So we don't do investments. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm ready to sell if you're ready to buy. No issues. Hey, why not? But then so he loved it. He said the issue you have is you don't have revenues because we only buy revenue. And I knew that once he said that. But
Are
then,
these like sales calls or are these like investments?
so this guy reached out to me actually on
Okay.
LinkedIn. He said, hey, we are looking to buy some marketplace fintech companies. You look like a very interesting prospect. Would love to talk to you to see if you are a good fit. So then,
Start, right?
yeah, so then I talked to him and he said, I love your product. Even when we can't invest, we might be a customer.
Okay.
So I said, great. So what do I need to do? So he said, let's do a demo. But do you have something which I can go after? Because yes, so he was very smart. He said, like, I've talked to enough fintech companies and they also we have models, but they usually don't have models. They just have some bucketing or something like that.
Yeah.
If else loop. I said, no, we have a proper model. And he said, how can you prove? And I said, I can send you a white paper. He said, oh yeah. So send me a white paper. I'll read it. And if I like, we'll set up a demo card. So that white paper, which I have been writing, it's 5-page. Sat down again today, edited it based on Anand's recommendation. So I did not put the diagram because I didn't have the time for that. Because I had to send it out today.
Yeah.
So I edited it again, took care of all of his comments, and then converted it to PDF and sent it to him. And then sent it to the other guy I talked to on Friday, just so that
Keep it going.
I keep it going. The only thing which I'm not sure is, now I'm sending the PDF. It's not a great way to track or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, I googled something, but I don't know. I mean, maybe.
So I have things like, I have my friend who does this kind of thing where he'll give you you can upload it on his website and then you can send a link.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether people want so that's where I'm not, it's like, even I can do that. Yeah, I can put it on Google Docs and sort of track it somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether people want to click a link or people want a PDF. I'm not certain about that. And if someone can tell me that, that would be a good.
Both. I mean, I don't know.
But if I do both, then people will just read the doc. They will not click it.
They'll just do what?
They will just download the PDF and read it.
What's wrong with that?
I can't track it.
Yeah.
So if
I mean, I guess.
So that interesting part, yeah. So let's say if I give you a doc link and you click it, in theory, I can see whether you clicked open it or not, and then how much time you spend to judge how much time you spend to read it. Like if you spent half an hour, then you really read it. You are
I
interested.
guess it's probably in the HubSpot Pro, but it's like I noticed that when you put on a PDF that they put a link in there.
Yeah.
What,
So
what is that link? Does that link track?
yeah, it tracks. So
Tracks open.
even on
I haven't seen the stats on.
so you can't. You have to buy the
You have to
paid
buy
version.
that.
Like even on MailChimp, if you send out an email and then you say sign up or something, they track that link. How many people clicked? Like I sent out and I said, this is a blog. So they actually tracked how many people clicked the blog, how much time they spent on that. And that's great because that gives you slightly more information. Like if read the blog for half an hour,
Yeah.
probably you are more interested than someone who spent 2 minutes.
I'm trying to think of what stats you get off of Medium. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, but see the problem I have is I can put it online, but then it doesn't appear like a white paper. Like I'll send you the PDF.
Yeah.
It has a cover page which we had, then I put table of contents and then 5 pages. So now it looks like a proper document because it's table of contents, this and that. I published it using Google, so it converts to an HTML. But I wasn't sure whether that will appear formal enough. So I'm in between that gray zone what to do. So I converted to PDF and sending out. But
Yeah.
Hi, Lori.
hey, Laurie, Abhishek.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Same here.
Great.
Lori's from our first class / speaker this evening.
Hey.
Former Visa. Currently at Bank Space, making it either work or figuring out what's next.
Yeah, exactly.
You are like me. I was formerly at Bank of America, now I'm at Crowdify,
Oh, okay.
trying to make it work or figure out what to do.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Were you back in Charlotte or were you out here?
No, here in San
Oh,
Francisco.
okay. They were one of my biggest clients.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Visa, yeah.
yeah.
BFA, so it's very interesting. BFA used to own majority of Visa. You know that, long time ago. It was Bank of America, which became Visa. We used to own 40%, then we were made to divest.
No, really.
Yeah, and then they created the consortium,
Just-
which became Visa.
Visa, yeah. It's
Yeah, smartest
interesting.
thing ever, right?
I don't know. Hey, if we owned,
They
so
kept-
BFA messed up,
they
but
they couldn't keep it. though.
no, it's very interesting. So forget about Visa. So because I sold everything so we bought China Construction Bank,
Yeah,
Banco Santander,
yeah,
Banco Tau, and these were awesome investments.
yeah.
Like on CCB, we make 300% or 400%, like awesome returns, everything. But with the downturn where they make all those dumb investments, we had to sell everything.
Yeah.
BFA sold everything.
Yeah.
It was just so painful to sell.
Cool. So, so are you the founder then of Crowdify?
Yes.
And where are you
Sounds like
guys?
janitor, secretary.
Everybody,
Yeah.
exactly. That is so
That's
true.
how it is, right? I mean, it's, yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So we just launched
great.
in November end.
Congratulations.
Thanks. We are right now doing the reach out to customers.
Yeah.
Constant emails. That's
Excellent.
it.
And who are you targeting?
Mostly fund managers in the fixed income space and family offices and high net worth individuals
Yeah. Okay.
who wants to invest in this alternate loan space.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Great, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's still, the product looks good, you've launched it.
But, you
But people are
know, I have
looking
to
at
say,
demos.
having spent the first, 20 plus years of my career working for larger companies for the most part, I mean, I did some startups too, but they were well-funded startups. Doing stuff from the ground up, it's totally different ballgame.
I know. I have
a
No,
great appreciation for all.
It's amazing that we are doing the sales calls and all. But till you convert the first big customer, it's just, you're never sure whether you survive or not.
I know.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. It seems like, we are in a good place.
Good, good.
Right now, so
Well,
I'm meeting BNP Paribas tomorrow.
You already told me, Kelly. The only guy I know is Mathau.
So I have the three names,
Yeah.
but they're coming from Europe.
Okay.
So they're head of
Big deal.
strategic investments, head of innovation, and I forgot the third guy.
So this is the first time you've met them, or you've been talking to them
No.
since the big meeting?
No, I
You
wish.
should probably.
Yeah.
We'll talk
No,
to you.
so Plug and Play does a lot of these. So I've applied through them.
Okay, good. You work with Plug and Play?
Yeah.
Anchor partner in the insurance vertical.
Okay, yeah. So InsurTech, yeah, I'm not. So they keep. So I'm not part of any of their batches, but
Yeah.
but somehow they send my name to random banks. So
That's great.
BNP Paribas selected our company out of 100.
Yeah.
So we are one of the 3 selected ones. So we
Oh,
are going to be
great.
pitching to them tomorrow. So yeah, first meeting,
Yeah.
no clue what will happen. I have to slightly change my pitch deck to suit them, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, it takes time.
So since you are partnering, yeah, I know. What are you looking for when you go to these companies?
Well, have you pitched to a big company before?
Credit Suisse.
Huh?
Yeah.
Credit Suisse.
Okay. Did you get feedback there?
They loved it. They wanted to
What?
partner with us. We didn't have the product ready. So.
What do they think of you? What do they think of you?
Oh,
They emailed me 4 times. They wanted our product demo, and they've asked for our deck. I just didn't have the demo ready, so couldn't do that.
Did they give you any feedback about your presentation
No,
or your vision or your plan,
no.
your style?
They just at the end of like 5 minutes, like, oh, we love it. We should partner. I said, okay.
Okay.
But then, yeah, we didn't have the product ready then.
Okay. But you do now, right?
Yes.
Is that who you're meeting with again tomorrow?
No, we are meeting BNP Paribas tomorrow.
The product's ready now? Did you follow up with Credit Suisse?
Yes and no, not really. I should have, I know.
So what I see, I see a couple hundred pitches a month probably.
Mm-hmm.
I see entrepreneurs that should have sat down and let someone else do the presentation. If they're making it to their other startups, it's a different deal than if they're making it to corporates.
I get that, yeah.
As I see them show up in sandals and shorts and t-shirt, and that's fine for that environment, but not when there's a corporate.
Yeah, no, I've gone in suit with a tie, not with a tie, but at least with a coat on, like
Good.
just like you.
Good.
Exactly like so. This is my
That
attire,
works
exactly.
good, because there was a guy there at Plug and Play actually last month, and he did his presentation like this.
No.
You know, it's like I know it's probably late night last night, but show some passion and energy. And I talked to a couple of folks after, what'd you think of that guy? And all they talked about was his demeanor and nothing about his product.
Yeah,
They couldn't get past it.
I'm sure.
But
But-
I don't worry about any of those. Like,
Yeah,
check.
but Plug and Play, the other problem they have is they don't make it easy on the, like, so I have 2 presentations tomorrow, one with
Yep.
NetBank, which I don't want, they really want me to present to NetBank, because it's South African bank, I don't think we have a fit.
Yep.
But that one is at 11 a.m. and the next one is at 5 p.m.
Oh.
And there is this 6-hour gap.
Yep.
There is really nothing at Plug and Play to do. It's pretty boring. So then I'll be driving there, driving back, and then driving back in the evening.
You can't get stuff done there.
I can't. I've tried it a few times.
I get the sense that you're pretty good, because when you first told me what you were doing, you said AIML, and then you translated that without me asking. I don't know if I look confused, but
No, actually, that's Brett.
and I was thinking someone must have counted you on that, but that's really good. You talk kind of fast,
I know, that's what I have to slow down now.
but that demonstrates passion.
Yeah, but that also makes people lose me sort of when I'm explaining things.
Your experience at B of A is very compelling.
Okay.
the understanding of what's involved in it comes from a business perspective and not from, take the benefits team.
I know what you're saying.
If they had you there, they wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
So that is what we keep on telling to a lot of platforms we talk to. They are those technical guys like, we are building this platform, and I'm like, have you thought about regulation? Have you thought about how would you build this model? Like, yeah, that can be built. I'm like, but that is the core of your business. It's not the technology platform. It is actually how do you underwrite a loan. But they don't think about that.
So they don't think about it. You say, well, yeah, we heard there's some of that. We'll deal with that later. Well, it needs to be considered up front. And then when they start to understand it, they develop tech solutions to work around it.
I know.
Rather than compliance, because compliance is onerous, expensive, labor intensive. Who has, we can't afford that in our product pricing. And that's why we're going to be cheaper than competition.
I agree completely. That's what I was.
Very compelling.
That's why I was when you were talking about that stuff. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So when people say SOFA and say, yeah, their model has issues.
Yeah, because the first thing on these bankers' mind is compliance.
I know.
And you know that. But the technology
Switch things around.
thinks they want to see a cool, slick piece of technology. Well, first they want something that's compliant.
Earlier than expected.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
So I think
it's
that your background and your self-awareness do well for you.
Hopefully, thanks a lot. Yeah, if we can sell for us right now, I know you'll say that. For me right now, if I can sell one, get one customer on board, like a big fund, that's a win for my next 1 month.
Yep.
I really want one, and that's what Brett's target is also for me. Yeah, get one fund onboarded before 50.
We met at Runway.
Oh yeah, good memory.
Good. Oh yeah.
All right. What are you doing here?
Let me get some that bad.
I am still at Runway,
Okay.
and I wanted the opportunity to talk to Brett and all his wisdom.
Good, the bad, depending on who you ask.
No, it has been good for us.
Yeah, with the group, with the cohort.
Good. How's it going to Runway?
It's going pretty well. Actually, we are undergoing a change of ownership.
You are?
We are, yeah. So
Ah.
our original co-founders were in a legal dispute with one another.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result, the court stepped in, and finally, after several months of court receivership, we're going to sell. It is what we've been pushing for, actually.
Okay, will it remain, well, you don't know who's going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
I'm CEO of a startup, so my job is to raise money.
Our last analyst is running late, so I'm just gonna.
Actually,
how
I'm
we're gonna
financial
run
engineer by
tonight.
trade.
So
my
probably
background's
just
in finance.
grab some food, hang out for a
It's
bit.
more the business side of things. Although I'm at home with the technology, you know.
Yeah, so we'll do the panel part second.
Yeah, right. Well, I wasn't gonna be there to third, but obviously.
So of our two speakers that are here, you might want to have some time with them. We got Lori with Make Space with the first program, and this former DC exec, and then we have Bill Cecil with the State Farm. So if you have any questions,
Yeah, I wouldn't make that anyway.
We were talking about your igloo the other day in our office.
Oh, yeah, our igloo, thank you.
We use little things, well, how about Runway's igloo?
Yeah, it gets you out of your typical environment, you know, so creative, thinking, I
You know
guess.
what the thing costs?
It's gonna cost, I think, between 6 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, could be less, but we had some significant interest from corporations, investors, some real estate
To sell
companies.
igloos.
That's what we might have to do, yeah.
Good to see you, good memory.
Hey, yeah, how's everything with you, by the way?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
We're out of plug and play. We're in our own space in Palo Alto.
Very good. Good for you guys. Well, nice to see you again. Yeah, I'll hold you up from working with you guys. but-
We're building capital markets, so it's supposed to feel like it's.
Okay, so when we do finally get going, if you
But
kindly
we all know that
put that bad boy on.
Flip it on, okay. Do you, I know I'm in tech, but I'm really.
So, you know, I've got 3 different types of partnerships, what I would call liquidity partnerships, and that's those institutions, hedge funds. I want to stay away from banks, but because we're working in the Title III job act, so hedge funds is really my bread and butter. They think like the way I want them to think. They're going to be looking for arbitrage. And
So like, who would you
So-
like here?
So in my email,
For hedge
there is a.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the section focused on rolling the business partnership. So one is hedge funds for liquidity partnerships. The way I'm targeting my SMEs is not quite as a CPA. So I really want to do that sales, develop that as attraction. Exactly. Well, and I'm proficient, right? They're going to keep funneling. Yeah. So my dad's CPAs know the financial business. So the business is trust the CPA. I love that. CPAs are constantly business to whatever, right? So you know this, right? Not only that, all my competitors are in the club, but I'm doing so I need to get so I can move on to the business with CPA. I've had some traction early on this since I tested it out. CPAs are very conservative. They care a lot about their reputation.
They were at capacity. Well, here's what our experience. Like my wife works with she works with Salesforce.org.
Yeah.
And so she does. I think she has a mandate of doing like 100 hours of volunteering a year. And she goes above and beyond that. But it's like a lot of these things are not run well. Like you get there and they're just like they're usually, especially if it's a Salesforce based one, they want Salesforce money. And like Salesforce has got a huge like nonprofit. It's a great company, right? Yeah. But it means like you show up, there's nothing really for you to do there. Like you move like 2 items down. It's like you're like there for 4 hours, and it's just like you leave with like the most like I didn't really do anything. It's
totally.
So we're kind of at this point, right? Not to be like tons of money. It's like should we just write checks instead of like signing up for stuff? Like because I mean, if you just want my money, right? Like.
Yeah, I mean, YPAC I feel like is usually like really well run.
Yeah.
Like they're impressive. That facility and that organization is really impressive.
What's involved in
They have it down. But yeah, I think typically in those kind of events they always bring in.
I didn't get involved with because I was really involved in Spokane, Washington, because like that's what you do.
Yeah.
But, like I never knew if it would be like useful in a market like this because I don't know. Because like where I'm from, it's like the people that are in those events are all like real estate, insurance, but I don't know what it looks like here, right? Like I've never felt the need to be involved in one.
Yeah.
Like I literally ran like the Spokane Young Professionals.
Oh really?
Like very involved for like 4 years.
It's the Young Professionals group. It's a lot of consultants, like a lot of health tech consultants.
Okay.
And some in finance, I would say. Yeah. I'm now their volunteer coordinator.
Okay.
I somehow got nominated, didn't realize it, showed up to the meeting, and then they said my name. They're like, and great, Katie, you're gonna be the, I'm like, what?
happened?
But I am like grateful for that community involved because they're so cool.
Yeah.
What they do, go to the house sometime and volunteer. It's so fun with the kids.
No, we did that at Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
so we did the Christmas. We did trash, but they didn't clean up the kitchen after the dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, it's awesome. My wife's like one of her cousins actually died of cancer.
Oh wow, really? That's good.
Near and dear to her.
Sure.
And her family, so.
Yeah, they're amazing families. And they're amazing staff.
It's a great.
It's cool. It really is.
I mean, so we went to. Embarrassing story, but we also went to got tickets to like the gala or whatever, and around Christmas. That was in November. It was prior to the wedding, but it was like
oh yeah,
we went to that, donated money because we got free tickets from Salesforce, and sat at a table and went to we were in the penthouse. Eventually got kicked out of this hotel. That's another long story for another day.
Well, have you been to the Brew Cafe Bash? It's like with a bunch of different brewers.
No.
I'll invite you this year.
Okay, please do. Yeah, that's good.
What else is new with you? Excuse me for really eating.
No, go for it. It's their time. Also, thanks for having on food. Beginning the messages on your options. This makes me think I could make that. A version of that.
You cook the food?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna eat your food. What is that? A chili? Oh, I'm gonna start that. You always cook the food?
So after the first one, like just no one ate the food. I was like, it cost me $100 for like crappy pizza. I'm gonna do it next time because it's gonna be too many people.
Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna go have a bite of that. Thanks for cooking. That's really wonderful.
Yeah. So it's one of these things like do the hard things. I love to speak the thing in every week.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
One more. But yes.
Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Are you with
I'm thinking-
Lisa? Is that what I read?
Once upon a time.
Yeah, I worked
So she was actually one of my aunts for the last session.
No, no kidding.
Yeah,
Really
so I
cool.
worked for, a lot of different things. I worked for Visa Summer.
Well, I would say it's very-
No kidding. And what's your company now?
So I'm CEO of Partner called Big
That's all you need.
Space is a real-time communications and collaboration platform. It's a secure platform specifically for specialists and advisors to connect in real time to their customers. Help them with mortgage, websites, bank account, and do it all online in a very secure one-to-one collaborative.
Interesting. And so was that a gap that you found in during your experience at Visa?
It's funny, it didn't come out of
Some of them are
very
parts,
sure
so they don't
how,
understand anything. They will do random checks. No, actually, that's
where we were.
So that was, but the other part is
sort of
feedback as
co-creating
very
some of our
much.
largest,
So if you follow that, then there's, you
Yeah.
know, how many more
beyond payments.
Yeah.
How do they make money?
So, but it's a waste, but it's a waste of time. It has nothing to do with a waste of time.
Sure.
Right now,
Is everything going
yeah, right
online?
now,
Sure.
like every
Once I
meeting.
got to know like what types of interactions there were.
Yeah, it's not really, I could have done something else, but like, I'm talking to these people.
Versus buying a book or
Sure.
something
But then the guy
else.
said, hey, we have also, I mean, we have also this neckband coming, which you have to come and. I said, no, no,
All
you have
of
to
this,
do together, you have to come and meet the neckband.
technology, great technology
Okay,
out
I
there,
come and talk.
and combine that with live engagement. It's
Sure. Interesting, interesting. And so,
And then I'm now going tomorrow morning.
so I work at an incubator called Runway.
Oh, okay.
And we're in-
That's where the demo.
Yeah, exactly. So we're in that building. We support about 83 early stage tech startups.
Oh, okay,
We
fantastic.
have a couple of fintech startups in there now, but
So I'll tell you.
huge amount. We like to
Last
host
year,
fintech
I
events every month though. We do with Empire startups.
Okay, sure.
I knew they wanted to do it.
But
I'm sure they need, but.
That's cool. So like, what's your?
And after 5 minutes, half of them were at this.
Yeah, so one of my roles is working with our community to connect them with mentors or investors or other community members. And then the other role is to work with some of our corporate partners and help them find startups to partner with or invest in.
And I was there.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time.
We work with Namura Research Institute, which is a large Japanese company that works with several Japanese financial institutions. So if you're interested in the Japanese market,
That's why I don't pitch to anything, but I'll tell you what, I'm giving the good advice. That's bad advice. Here's why. Right? That's one of the people there that I pitch to.
Right.
Love them, right? Right? I run into the person that.
yeah, they're not exactly.
You should say years, but they're not.
That's moving industry.
And then once you're in that-
I know, I completely
I
agree.
met at a blockchain. I shopped it out. Later, he referred me to Brett. Brett said, "No, I think something incredible for me." And I'm literally great. That shows both benefits.
So that's,
I will say,
Yeah,
"No,
has the trial been successful? Have you
one point that time becomes so precious, and at least in my daily life right now, every hour I spend not on the topic. For me, it feels
You
like.
gotta decide. You gotta decide. You guys are a different place than we are.
You know,
Right. My company relies on
the amount of folks who are
I gotta
actually
say,
really doing it
Me
and.
too, but then right now the problem is, so I'm pitching to a
Sure.
fund, and it's like, oh, we want that feature, which is there, like, stuff. It will benefit me to focus on that, but at the same time, my other sort of, the sales calls or the
Yeah.
networking are on.
And they've never done well.
Yeah.
And so that's been challenging.
I just next time to
Kind of got
that. So this guy sells,
Yeah.
manages, and he's like,
Yeah, I think a lot of, you know, startups, tech, you know.
Oh, okay.
So there they have quite a.
Yeah.
So I met him because I was asking him, can he
It's the
start
only way
doing
to get them.
part-time?
Right.
That's cool.
So he said, I'm interested in doing it. Yeah, so right now he's applying for a PhD to have it. He gets in, then he will be perfect. And if he keeps it up, he's stable.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so so that's the same. See, I can't pay someone.
Yeah.
It's
That's impressive that you've been able to get the pilots with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of work, and we continue to get really interesting people, but it takes us, you know the story, it
Yeah.
takes us months
I can do
to
that
get
with
to the
that.
point of like even getting people on first trial.
That is also the
You know, they don't know
again, a PhD. capital
and
money.
then the
And I can go and say,
What does that do about your ability to
that's not
survive?
Really? Your endurance, yeah.
like, either you're investing or
I
not.
added the.
And then there is no like, whoa.
It's really true as I'm watching companies I work with die.
Someone says,
Not for like
yeah,
lack of like product market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is good. When I go back,
You know,
so
one.
if I say I have one
As
issue
I
with
call
the
it,
customer, then you come back and say,
right.
what if I come back and say 10? Then I know there is, that's fuck you, yeah. That's the first you will give it.
Prioritize,
Exactly.
you know, top of their list from a budgeting perspective, so after that initiative.
Yeah.
And then.
So that's the first, so like, once you have that, it's a very easy path to say, hey, this guy, I don't waste time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need your internal campaign.
Right now, so that
Yeah.
And then
cloud
they can
experience.
maintain their job for the entire.
Sure.
time so that you don't get reorged out of it.
Right, and I mean, and you have to prove that it's like,
You know,
As
that one
you
I was
build
doing,
them,
I'd say that
go further, you realize
that
that time is the most.
oh no.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
It's my world too, though, right?
Yeah.
The mid-accelerated world. It's like,
Totally.
oh, I'm working with Matt. Oh, Matt doesn't work there.
Yeah, Matt's not, I tell you.
Literally everyone that worked at Draper no longer works there. Every person that worked at Launch doesn't work there anymore. Like, I spent a lot of energy getting
Yeah.
papers,
I know.
and they're all like useless.
And then you're like, okay, finally this person called me this week. We had this.
Oh, yeah, and you're like, oh, they're not there.
Like,
for education, yeah.
like your sponsors left.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
so it's been a crazy ride, but it's
Totally.
been really fun. And I love it.
good. Very good. Have you looked at all with TD Bank?
I have not actually engaged them, but I would love.
Yeah, I don't have a strong connection, but they're innovative. Yeah, out of all the banks that we talk with, they seem to be the most forward-looking.
Yeah.
Royal Bank of Scotland is a little bit, but I think TD Bank is the one that seems like move quickly.
They really have income.
But thinking about it, they buy it.
Oh,
okay.
really like money and
Yeah.
bandwidth.
Sure.
But I agree with who started moving.
That's when the trainees come in.
I've just gotten to know him.
Yeah.
He he'd gotten to deal with CDs and he just talked about a lot about that. And just,
Okay.
it's one of those.
Yeah.
They really got, you know, sort of the,
Yeah,
like
that's probably less
MBA.
you, but thank you for coming in.
You know, kind of-
There are two ways to
Right,
invest.
right.
And truly
One is
dig
count.
into it,
count.
right?
What's
Which
the
we
very
do.
Yeah.
That
What
one
do you
is
mean
$100.
internal
The other one is $50.
Pilot processes for journalism.
Which
Because
time?
we always talk about it.
SoundCloud
in
and
corporations.
iTunes.
Where it's like.
Quick time recording,
and then
SoundCloud allows you to.
pilot program.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear from your perspective that there's even like, so we're always like, oh yeah, you get constantly get the pilot, you prove it, it's great, so you commercialize it, but it's interesting to see there's such a big gap also that or barrier to the actual commercialization.
Oh my God, so I have
Do the collateral for social media. National Spark.adobe.com allows you to do that very easily.
Okay.
Free.
They are about, there's
So I'm adding those things also.
Okay.
So just becomes a complete.
Yeah.
But it's trying, you know, but they're growing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they have.
Because I don't want to do PhD.
I signed this round.
I want it to be a more honest process where I don't have to think.
And
That's like our.
they.
How I send 100 emails yesterday.
It's a little night, no, I know.
Yeah.
But, I have to do it tomorrow.
My daughter was talking there, my kid was crying and I was like,
But you can do, like, it's got to zen at some point. You're just like, you don't even like set it up right. It doesn't take zero power. And once you set it up, right?
It's interesting to get like, with the urgency of security, I would like, I would.
Oh, you still have space. I don't know, we got 50 spots.
Sure, but I mean, the fact that you, yeah.
That's why you.
Yeah. No, that's literally all they have.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of thinking I might have to rent one or two.
I can read it.
More chances
I might do that.
than the software.
Get one of those plastic ones that kind of
And
folds
I think
up
that's what
in
we
the.
found.
Yeah, you get your own table, bring your own table.
The cheapest plastic.
Yeah.
that process is-
40 to operate.
Yeah.
And then also, figuring out a way to say,
Actually, why don't we reverse? No, that's the whole thing.
Right.
Okay. If I get everyone's attention.
Sure.
So I think we got about 5 or so minutes before Jason gets here, but while we've got time, so for our guest-ish, I guess we got one guest and a former member of the previous cohort, but what we usually do each week is we go around and we talk about our big wins and our metrics that matter and do a call for help. So why don't we just tackle that right now? So we'll have to tackle that at the end. So with Ben, would you like to start, or can I start with these pretty?
I gotta figure out what my losses were. It's been such an amazing week.
I'll give you something pretty big.
Maybe you'll inspire.
Yeah, we were kind of talking.
Also, why don't you introduce your company?
See you too.
Yeah.
How you been?
Talent.
We have
Okay. Cool.
Let's have a big one. I don't know where big win was for the week. Got a lot of ongoing things. I don't know if I can wrap up this.
Small. When I say big one, I mean like something everyone else in the world thinks is right. The team didn't get the fist fight. Right?
But I finished that mission, right?
There you go.
That's
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Let me just clarify.
That's a big win.
Yeah, I'm just you feel good about it right now.
That's good. I hate my neck, so
Hey, Jason.
What's up? I'm sorry.
No worries. We're just gonna do. We're just gonna wrap up. We're gonna go around each week. We go through and talk about the big wins of the company and any asks or anything they need. So okay, so deck.
Yeah.
I'll see a copy of that soon, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other issues? Anything concerns? Big cries for help.
No, going along, we're gonna start our second email campaign here in Wednesday probably, so we have high hopes for that.
Okay.
Positive results.
Third carrier on board too, would be a big one. This process getting that done. So it's-
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, no, good.
Yeah, well, good stuff, but just no big milestones or anything. Yeah.
So they're all like the whole idea is like each little win builds to something,
Yeah.
right? So we're building towards.
We only count big ones.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna yell at you every single week with customers, but they're still.
That was gonna be my ask. We need to customer.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting closer and closer, right? So when we started at week 1, right, you guys didn't even launch your product. So we were not launched. So we're moving in the right direction.
Actually, there's a really good follow-up potential investor, former insurance exec, who's basically retired.
Hey, that's perfect.
Yeah, and well, it went, that called it really well, and more importantly, it just like the same 3 or 4 friends. That was probably the big, that was kind of high five moment.
So Jason was one of our speakers from PwC, just walked in. If you just give a quick, what you do, what company.
Yeah.
Talent Insurance is online digital marketplace for small business insurance software solution for clients on insurance. It's all levels of the town.
Abhishek.
Crowd is fine. So we are building an intelligent toolbox for investors to invest in automated marketplaces like lending transfer, smart loans, and so on and stuff.
Okay.
Our platform consists of a trading platform, a ratings engine, a goal investor in a high frequency trading service.
Big wins.
So send out 200 emails.
What's that?
Sent out 200 emails.
Excellent. So talk to Abhishek. So the process that we have been, I've been talking to people about that's built on Lloyd's, talk is working.
Yes.
So we're building out a sales process for Abhishek, and it's leading to.
So we got 5 calls. So one happened on Friday, 3 are scheduled on Thursday, and one is actually 2 more calls. So actually 6 calls.
Yeah.
So 6 calls from 200 emails, and most of them are only 1. So we haven't even sent a second email chain to them. So hopefully more of them will convert as we send second, third, and fourth, and fifth.
All the way up to 8.
All the way up to 8. The first call actually started at 15 minutes and lasted an hour, so it was good news. The guy is actually interested in investing as well as becoming a customer, so both that was also good. We are meeting BNP Paribas tomorrow, so that's
Awesome.
So,
All good stuff. So
yeah,
from like starting to where you are today,
yeah, so
0 people
Yeah, so-
asking for demos. So
yeah, so like 3
I
weeks
feel
or
like
4
this
weeks
week's
back,
been a typical.
we had nothing. The big help we need right now is, so Ben has asked us to do the videos for our product, and which we do, but we need someone to do a voiceover, good clean voice, because I run through. So if someone can volunteer for voiceover, we would really appreciate that.
Pay $25 and go to Fiverr. Someone
I was just
for
gonna
it,
suggest
48
So,
hours.
so yeah, so I was thinking about that, but
I don't know how you convince my wife, but this is what she does for a living. So she creates all the trainings for Salesforce.
So then I'm
Have I ever told her that I said that you're like, they just they cold email her and ask her.
What's the thing?
I don't know. I think if you buy her
Video issues. I've heard of it.
There's like a premium version. You just click through images and voice it over, but there's like professional wrapping in the front and back, music, and you can reach it free.
Ooh,
So
that might be worth
it
looking at.
you use it for stuff, but professional license. It doesn't look very fancy when you do it, but it ends up looking like it.
Yeah, no, so our thing is, we'll use QuickTime and SoundCloud and iMovie to do the video part for product demo.
Got it.
So it's not an image thing, actually we will do the demo. But we want someone to talk about it, that, hey, if you want to do this, click this, do that, and talk those kind of things. So we really want actually a voiceover to talk about the product. I was thinking about doing the text, but that doesn't work. Yeah, nobody wants to read the text. So that's what we're looking for.
Professional voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, because 2 parts here, the text would matter. We will edit, but anybody who has done it would know that, yes, you should speak that or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if they can
we'll have
speak,
to figure out how to trade some favors.
yes, exactly. So if you tell me what's your wife's favorite wine or whatever.
Yeah, her favorite wine's called 1% equity. So.
Yeah, don't talk to her about equities. She said take 20% out of all these companies. I said, well, it's good if you can get it. Look at everyone getting all quiet. Like, so we won't be trading equity. We want to be over quality.
Yeah.
When you're buying 5 or 6 pack.
Sometimes it's better to stick with the line.
You want to do one? Yeah, 6 pack.
Look at it. It's between the 2 of you. Let's go. Ben, are you ready? Are you
Sure,
still,
yeah.
still thinking about trying to figure out?
I mean, what can I say? I feel like my team has a lot of momentum right now. We got a first CPA signed up on board.
How'd you do that?
Just good old fashioned networking. Yeah. So that was really good because that
Go back
started
a
to
second.
validate.
Tell the whole room, like your company.
Okay, so building the New York Stock Exchange for small businesses, or more specifically, the New York Stock and Bond Exchange. My goal is 5 years from now, no small businesses taking out a loan from a bank. Instead, they're issuing a bond on the San Francisco Stock Exchange. It's a superior form of finance. The operation model is better, and so that's the business model in a nutshell. So I'm duking it out with the digital lending platforms, Lending Club, On Deck. These people got here first, and so one of my traction distribution channels to try and get a high quality supply of borrowers on the platform is to get CPAs signed up, so that I get the high quality issuers, the audited financials, the A-class borrowers. So one of the channels is CPAs, and I've been testing it out. Even though we don't go live until September, I'd like to have my first 20 or so offerings lined up in the next month or so. So I'm just focused on doing that.
So you're vetting the CPA? Since not all CPAs are created equal.
My dad's a CPA. I know that very well.
Your dad is not the market, is what we learned.
My dad, well, here's what my dad said. He said, I don't think CPAs will do it. They're very conservative. They just care about themselves, their reputation. And then towards the end of the conversation, he goes, I might have a business for you, right? The CPA that I was talking to, who I ultimately, am going to be working with, said the same thing. They just care about the reputation. Yeah, they're very conservative. I don't think that's going to work as a traction distribution channel. You know what? I might have a business for you. So I'm trying to leverage that and trying to figure out how to maneuver within that space, because the bottom line is I can't cut deals with business partnerships because I'm a scrappy startup. Lending Club and On Deck, these guys have gotten there already, right? So how am I going to get the high quality borrowers? I've got to find out. I've got to do something novel and risky, and so CPAs was the way to go. But I'd love to hear you elaborate more on your point that CPAs are creating equal. I know we're getting going, but thanks for that point. So and we pitched to, let's see, 3 different VC firms and have another one lined up for tomorrow, and just pitching right now, trying to raise a seed round.
It's going well.
It's going well. Yeah, we got great feedback. The thing that keeps me up at night is someone's going to say, "Well, you don't have any customers. You're not live." That's not how it's done these days. But we've got a cutting edge technology. We've got a good team. You know, it's all patentable technology because I'm getting to the SMB white space first. I'm going to patent the whole thing. So we're really a technology company that just happens to be building the San Francisco Stock Exchange. No, because I can't. They're so expensive. It costs $30,000 to file a patent. So I need to raise capital so that I can. I've got a guy who can actually do it cheaply for me, who's kind of sitting there waiting. If I paid $500 to file a patent, that patent's not going to be worth anything, right? It's not going to be a good patent. So.
Well, we should, let's talk, let's meet afterwards. I'll talk to you about that. Because the first thing I did when I started before I even like did anything was I filed the provisional on the original idea, and it gives you a year to finish the rest of it. Yeah. But what that does is allows you to get that priority date, and you can do that. You can do provisionals for $500 if you get the right person to help you. In fact, you can do them yourself. I'd be happy to chat with you about that, because if you've got something that's patentable, you should get in there.
We have 5 patents.
Yeah, so you should. Yeah, you should do that. So let's talk.
Thank you.
So one more thing is a counsel. I know someone who has found a good lawyer who's a Howard grad on a counsel for $4,000 or $5,000 for the entire time.
Yeah, that's I've seen that too, which is also good. But key is to get the date, because the new rules are first to file, not first for the idea anymore. It's now first to file.
Also, 2 weeks from now, we'll be going through legal type issues, so we'll have a couple lawyers talk through some of those issues as well. Amir.
Hi, Amir. I represent Zikr. It's a digital lending platform for small banks. We provide their customers a platform where they can apply for all different kinds of loans and streamline the whole process from the front end. And the back end, it just connects the customer, banker, underwriter, and processors, creating a digital pipeline, real-time information flow. And
how are we doing on? It's actually really good. It's progress.
We are in progress of signing 2 letter of interest. One is a fintech company, lending company here in the Bay Area. Second one is Uruguay. No clue. They just reached out, so we just had a conversation.
That's a country. That's a big.
It's cool, and they're actually operational right now. They're lending. They're doing, and also having a couple weeks meeting. Which I will ask you guys if anyone know. Nitin Gupta from Vesper Venture reached out to us from New York. I'm going to start the conversation on that. I have no clue who they are.
Talk to
Vesper?
Yeah.
Probably Lloyd.
Okay.
At the DC.
So
they have an office here too.
So New York is office here is mostly technology, but New York office is for all financial technology. So
that's going to be great.
Really? Okay. So that's
big in SaaS.
Yeah. SaaS products. So that's
great resources.
So when you connecting, we can talk later.
And
give more details.
And one more update is I had a demo, kind of slash demo with EVP of West Valley Bank in Orange County, and next week or week after I have a meeting and demo with their president and CFO. So
what size institution is it? What size institution?
Depends on some 2 branches to 19, 20 branches. Nothing corporate, large bank, but anything less than that. So that's good progress.
Yeah, great. Challenges or calls for need? Calls for help?
I would love to sit down with you guys or anyone that can help me out with sales deck, which is the newest thing. It's that I've heard of. We designed a white paper for the banks, and now they want this white paper is kind of teaser. They get the value prop, but sales deck is they want to see what exactly you bring to the table, what exactly you charge them, and what's the milestone look like.
Who are you reaching out to at the banks? So for the banks you talk to?
Executive VPs and department heads of lending.
Got it. So the business unit, not an innovation function?
Not exactly. Well, these small banks don't even have innovation
Yeah.
teams.
Well, some of them have folks that are, I mean, I was on the phone with one an hour ago, that has a very small bank, that has someone whose job, they have a day job, they have a night job, and the night job is to be the head of innovation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's
So
interesting.
I guess what I'm asking is like, we're talking to the right people that are asking for this, because starting in the right place is really important to get the journey going
Uh-huh.
through their ecosystem, and so I'm happy to chat about that.
I would love to.
Perfect.
We reach out about 100 people a week.
Yeah.
And we ask them then if they know anyone unless they know they're the right people.
Yeah.
Or the executive VPs or branch head, or they do not, they're not the one they can connect with. Like, right, out of 100, about 25 is like positive on that. So it's a good start.
Nice.
Very good one, yeah. But I'd love to talk to you a little more.
Chat more. Okay, we'll try to get into the content here real quick. So Anton.
So I'm Anton, I'm with Dual, I'm more on the technical side of the team. So what we do is help consumers understand and predict real estate markets using our sophisticated AI engine. So
What's proprietary about your model?
pretty much in terms of AI engine, everything is built from scratch. So
Using your own proprietary data or third-party data?
third-party data, a lot of data we gather ourselves too. So it's again a lot of parsing. So what kind of technology company do it all? Of data hoarding first, then trying to package it up in a nice form.
Awesome.
I was talking about big wins and
Yes.
challenges. So one of the challenges I would like to talk to you about provisional patents and kind of what is the most cost-effective way to kind of lay that. So big wins, our team is growing. We're actually in talks right now to add another 2 senior guys from Infusionsoft
Really?
to the team. So our like marketing that part
It's
is
party out Infusionsoft.
trying to rip off all of the great guys from there. Also, like last week we had those challenges of technological debt and everything. So I have a strong feeling that the momentum is rolling like never before. So I'm pretty happy about that. Also, I'm reaching out to
How did
my
your
guys.
meeting with Bitmatica go?
Oh, it went well. So Matt was really helpful. So we actually finalized, he actually got a lot of ideas how to simplify things.
Okay.
Because again, we're kind of like backend heavy, have lots of data, but the ways we need to like dumb it down for the consumers. So he was really helpful with that. We also talked to guys they were actually contractors for Google and built Google Analytics dashboard. So got some feedback from those guys. So I'm kind of like finalizing the whole UX UI. Okay, slash this out, like the true MVP, but in terms of UX, is down there. Now it's all about putting on the paper, file provisional for that, because there are a lot of cool ideas that we kind of get the essence of it. Then I also, right now I'm in the talks of some interesting guy who is D3 expert. And again, as last time we were told that they're expensive and hard to find. It is, and it seems to like the guy who I hope will join us down the line will get funding and all of that. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I think on that note, we'll jump into it. So Katie, if you could tell me with 2 things, what time is it?
It is 6:38.
6:38. So we do have a limited amount of time with these guys. So probably going to make the panel fairly short and then do a lot of the one-on-one. I think it's probably the best use of time, but just for programming and whatnot, I still want to do the panel. Could you help me out? So I was able to get the camera working. If you
Sure.
would flip it open and start recording. That'd be
Will
awesome.
do.
So yes, welcome up for our panel. Thank you guys for joining us. I know you guys are Chris and Jason's used to being on way bigger panels, so thank you for gracing us with your presence today. So thank you guys in all sincerity. So we got a great panel.
We all know each other well.
Perfect. After the grilling, then I'm going to put you through. You're gonna know each
You made
other.
the chili.
I made the chili.
Delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, the story is two stories. So I heard someone told me that Paul Graham used to make chili for his early cohorts. I thought that was
great because that's really what I can afford. So it just worked. You know, so I heard that. I was like, the first week I did pizza, no one ate it. It was expensive, and it was like, let's be honest, anything you go and do like this is not good for you. But I'm like, well, I'm going to make chili each week. So that's where since week one, I've made chili, and I do it because it's hard, and I have to lug it into the city every single week, and I feel like some farm kid that's just coming to the city, but I do it for you guys. So,
We love it.
yes, it's becoming our thing. So whether you love it or not, I do it each week. Unfortunately, next week we have a bigger panel. We'll have founders, so we'll have to buy pizza again.
So as entrepreneurs, we're willing to take the risk of trying.
Yeah.
Worked out pretty well.
Good. Yeah. So anyways, I'll introduce the panel here. I'll let you guys introduce yourself. So first of all, we have Lori, who actually went through my first cohort. I originally met her when I was putting together, which never came together, Draper, the FinTech Connection, the second cohort. Met her, stayed in contact. She's a former executive at Visa, and when I reached out and said, I'm going to put this together, would you like to be part of it? She said, yes. You know, and so we worked with each other on the first batch, and she's still alive and well. And she has a great wealth of experience. Actually, tonight we'll be kind of focusing on her experience with both being on the corporate side and then being a founder, the advantages and still challenges of that. We have Jason Zahler with PwC, which I know from back in my Draper days as well. And he used to bring his companies in to see the companies that I was parading through there. And we've just become friends since then. I always say this, and then people look at me like we're not friends, but you're the first person to actually say that. So. And then I recently met Bill Cecil with State Farm, who heads an aspect of their innovation. He'll tell you more about what they do. So those are my core introductions of you guys. I'll let you guys go through and give a quick introduction, and then we'll jump into it.
Bill Cecil with State Farm. I'm the director of our Silicon Valley office down in Palo Alto. I've been here for about a year and a half. Our operation's been here for 3 years now. Scouting for businesses that can bring products, services, technology, new business models to our company and our customers, primarily around wide area, transportation, residential, health, wellness, financial services, IoT strong, and all sorts of other pieces. We also have some more core tech scouting operations in our function as well. Been with State Farm a long time, and an entrepreneur before starting with State Farm.
Awesome. I'm Jason Zahler. I lead FinTech partnerships at PwC in the United States. What that really means is I spend half my time talking to startups, usually one or two clicks further in their evolution than the guys in this room, and hopefully this will be good to help you understand what a lot of our clients look for. And the other half of our time is building proof of concepts and pilots and rapid prototypes with clients across financial services, from insurance and asset management into banking. I'd say that 70% of our time is spent in banking, with a big migration from retail to commercial over the last 18 months, and where we spend our energy. I'm happy to be here and learn about what you're doing. Hopefully enjoy more chili, if not, share some wisdom.
Great, and I'm Lori Vandaloo, and I'm currently the founder and CEO of a company called BankSpace. And BankSpace was part of cohort number 1. BankSpace is a video banking and collaboration real-time platform service that allows financial institutions or other financial services providers, specialists like a mortgage specialist or a wealth advisor, to connect, interact, and transact in real time with their customers anytime, anywhere. And we stood up our MVP last year. I have been in confidential trials with large financial institutions like top 20 banks here in the United States, as well as community banks. And I've probably talked to, in this process, and I'll call it deep engagement, meaning like I've had more than 3 or 4 meetings with them, but probably half of the top 20 FIs in the United States based on assets, 2 out of the 3 top third-party service providers, and a number of other sort of residual players in different parts of the spectrum. So as a founder, I have a fair amount of experience working, the direction that you're going. Prior to doing BankSpace, I spent almost 9 years at Visa, primarily in the product and innovation space. I had a number of different roles while I was there. My last job was as the head of global product management coordination, which was pretty much responsible for different types of initiatives and programs that cut across products and geographies. So if you had something that had to do with credit, debit, and commercial, and it was, you know, in the US and Asia, that would be something we get involved with. Plus, I did a lot on the acquiring side. You know, we won't talk about that as much, but you know, a lot there around card acceptance, payment acceptance, and did things like you know, trying to work on different verticals, getting acceptance in healthcare, transit systems. You can, you know, step outside, you can see that you can pay for parking with your credit card now out front. Now you can do them off mobile apps, those kinds of things. I did a lot of work in PFM about 5-7 years ago. You know, kind of list goes on. Probably, I think one of the things that I worked on as a corporate that was, I think has become a huge success is I worked with Square in the early days. I was actually the original sort of product person, along with one other colleague of mine who worked for me, and we had a cross-functional team that did all the original agreements for that. And so really great to see the success of that going from, in that case, they had a couple dozen people, and it was before their Series A. So to see what's happened since then, it's pretty cool. And then I'll just mention one other thing. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I also teach payments down at UCLA's business school, UCLA Anderson School of Management, and I teach a payments technology and innovation course.
The full gamut.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start at kind of at the end here. People that are currently in corporate positions, tell us why you guys are working with startups. Like, what is the primary driving function of that?
We're working with startups because that's where all the cool, interesting things are happening. They're moving at a pace that will allow those that can keep up with them to have a strategic advantage over those that aren't really able to work with them. The volume and diversity among them is unbelievable. Because, you know, I'm interested in learning more about a smart water detector. I can visit with 10 different ones, see 10 different models, 10 different business models and people. But that wouldn't happen if I was working with corporates, because there'd be a couple that dominate, and they got all their stuff from you guys that I followed. Yeah. Okay. So that's where it is.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that? Is that okay? Sorry.
Why don't we'll come up, we'll do the open. What do you got there? I'm just burning.
Thank you. It's the last time I do it, probably. When you see 10 smart water companies, is there generally one or two of them whose business model and technology are superior?
Usually, there's 5 things to look at. It's the product, the market, and the team, and the team, and the team. So those 5 things, yeah. And it's the team that stands out, because the technology is usually within a general range. It's what they do with it, and their plans to bring it, and their willingness to work with others in the ecosystem, and their ability to pitch and understand. That's the differentiator. Because the technology, yeah, there's elements that are differentiated, and there's clearly some that aren't going to be able to deliver on whatever they're thinking about, and those that have a solid vision, are aware of what's happening, and can bring it to life and pivot when necessary, and learning and adapting is really important for the aspects of the team.
So when you're evaluating the team, you're not just evaluating the resumes abstractly, although you need to do that, of course, because what you've done in the past tells you a little bit about what you can expect in the future. But there's kind of a soft information.
It's overt and it's subtle. And you know where to start first, I'll tell you. So when you said we're a tech company that happens to be in banking or finance, as a corporate, that's flipped for me. That's a turnoff for me. So if someone makes that in the pitch, I go, oh, I don't want the next benefits who were technologists and didn't understand the importance of that. I want to have someone, like when I find someone who understands insurance and they have the technologists to enable that, that's great. But when I have people say, I'm a technologist we're a tech company, we just happen to be X, an insurance company. Well, that is kind of offensive to the insurance company people, where that's just an incidental thing. Oh, anyone can do that, but I'm a technologist.
Let me build on that.
That's really good feedback.
Yeah.
Don't insult.
Not exactly what I said, but
Okay.
But that's what you heard. So,
Right.
That's
So
good.
at least a fun one for you.
So let me build on that with my answer. So our clients are everybody from, so basically with one of the big four, if we don't audit your top 500 financial service company, we consult for you and do your taxes or some mixture of the two. So our clients are everybody from the C-suite at the largest bank by assets in the United States.
You are the largest insurance company in the United States.
We also are the largest insurance company in the United States. But the clients that I work for on the advisory side that I can provide advice and guidance to are those we don't audit. And that ranges down to the community or regional bank level. And the similarities between what people are looking for are actually pretty startling. But it's the difference in bureaucracy and process for the larger players and the ability to provide budget and focus for the smaller folks that actually make an impact. So you might have some of the largest banks in the world bring us on to figure out across 65 different capabilities how their small business lending solution stacks up. But because there are so many layers of bureaucracy and people that have stakes to that business, the progress is incremental and very slow. But you could have a regional player that says, hey, here are 3 solutions we're evaluating. Help us build a framework around your point, beyond the 3 pieces of the 5 being the team, to evaluate the technology, the product market fit, the ability to function, and integrate with our clients and go to market. And so for us, what we really spend our time doing is figuring out which startups that solve specific needs of our clients globally, and you could prioritize them across sectors in FIs, in financial services, or you could do them horizontally on a technology basis. So for example, a small business lending platform versus an AML KYC platform. And we figure out who has the right approach and the right team to do a pilot or proof of concept with an incumbent in a way that we can either facilitate some of the introduction and expertise for our clients, because we're really serving the clients. We're not serving you guys in most cases. Or that we can sign a joint venture and go to market and scale up and deliver a solution on behalf of a startup. So just like every big four has an Oracle practice and an SAP practice, we also want to build practices around leading financial services technology solutions. So what that means at its core is that we focus much more on the enterprise level fintech as a scale into our client's platform. And we focus on the consumer space as an aspirational target and as an advice and strategic level for our clients.
Okay, just maybe to build on that, and I think both of these points, but coming in as a founder from the space has probably been, based on the feedback I've received, has been one of the strongest assets we bring in at least the first introduction. And so definitely don't underestimate the value of that in your ability to sort of get the meeting. And I think that that's why, from, if I look at, where we've been really successful and where we have, room to grow, where we've been really successful is we get the meeting.
Yeah.
And I was in payments, so a lot of times we're not even getting the meeting with the people I used to know, but someone vouches for me who knows me from another piece, and also that I've been doing this. But I want to pause on that and say that's great to get you the access, and that says a lot, because that might save you 3 months.
I've been through part of the pain with Lori of going through this journey,
right.
Only a snippet of it, but it's.
But the second piece of it is what you bring, right? So you have the ability, once you get that meeting, and they haven't rescheduled it 2 or 3 times, once you get that meeting and you go in there, it's all you. Right, all that did was give you the access. It's no different than like someone who wrote you a recommendation to get into college, or your dad's friend who helped you get your first job, or whatever it was. But once you get in, it's all you. And that's where you need to make that impression on them that you are expert at your business. But more so, I'll bring it back to what you were saying at first, which is you understand their business. Because they're really interested in how you're going to help their business. They don't want the deck that you took to the VC. Yeah. They want the deck that speaks to them.
And no one's there. And to your point, let me build on that. I had a meeting this week with a pretty mature startup in the digital identity space that came to the meeting nothing. And said, so what all do you guys do? Is that from taxes and audit? And I said, you wanted me to get the leader of my practice down here for this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, go home, try again, and let's have a conversation about.
So are you willing to have someone go home and come, are they that good? I mean, what would,
Let's
let's talk about how do you get the meeting?
Really say go home.
What's
that? I think that when people, so to your point, getting the meeting as the startup, understanding the business model. So if I say, hey, I need to find 5 companies, I'll keep using small business lending to be consistent, that have better small business lending or mortgage origination or digital ID or omni-channel authentication or customer onboarding solutions, those folks have to understand that the clients aren't wedded to the brand of the startup. They want a white label solution 99% of the time, and that's your distribution channel. So the biggest battle a year and a half ago was companies thinking that they didn't need to work with the incumbents, and then now the phone rings and it's the same people asking you for meetings with your clients. That's one piece. But the other piece is understanding how, whether we are the incumbent or we are a gateway to many incumbents, how important it is to have a message and how important it is to have a soundbite. What is the thing that you want me to drop into a meeting as a by the way when I'm talking to 40 PwC partners in the insurance practice? Like, what's the one soundbite when someone says, someone tonight said,
so when you say soundbite, is it like a value proposition? Like what, tell me more, what is it?
So in your business, you're looking for advantages you can take to market and how you can get a leg up on the competition by finding the right folks to partner with, whether it's an acquire partner. In our business, we're looking to provide our clients with the same edge. So a soundbite is a meeting of 40 people about risk and reg, and somebody says, hey, what was that awesome startup that you guys put in the briefing 2 weeks ago that does X? And you're called on to recite with 2 sentences what they do and why they're great to the 40 people. So we're carrying the water.
Yep.
And so make sure that when you have a meeting that you lead and end with the same message, so someone that's carrying the water for you knows exactly what it is you're providing.
Yeah, I'll add to what you both have said, and Laura, your comment about knowing both of yours, knowing the business of the person you're meeting with, particularly the business that you're targeting. And since I've been here this afternoon, the work comp group, I'm sorry, I don't remember your team. Your name, College, and the AI ML based loan portfolio evaluation tool. He knows lending, they know work comp, or at least they have at least one expert on there that understand it, and they use the right language. Because when they come in, they use the wrong terminology. They don't have to be experts, but when they come in, they use the right terminology, then that's good. We're working with a company called Slice, and Slice is on-demand insurance. This is exactly on-demand insurance for the on-demand economy. That's the tagline, and now you know what they do. And they do cars, TNCs, Uber, Lyft. They do Airbnb. They get behind there, and their insurance app knows when the car's being used for what stage and when the apartment's being rented. And the lead guy used to be with insurance companies for years, so he knows what's important. It's riddled with regs. It varies by states. He speaks our language. We don't have to ask things around about because he doesn't know. And I talk with other people, and they use words that tell me they just don't understand. And one guy does a company, I won't say the name, but they do maintenance around apartment buildings, and they base their price. It's kind of like insurance warranties mashed together. They base their price on, or they base whether or not they're going to pay a claim for a failed water heater on how long the policy's been in force, because we haven't collected enough premium from you to pay you the full amount that we owe you for the water heater, so we're going to negotiate it. And if they understood insurance at all, they realized, and these guys are smiling because they know how ridiculous that is, but that's his business model. We haven't collected enough from you to pay that. And we ended like 5 minutes later because they just don't understand.
So I think if you
I don't understand insurance, and that doesn't make sense.
But in his world, right, if you were selling it, there would be very important that you
But it is deeper. It is exactly as you said. It's like, that doesn't make common sense. Let's talk. And I did actually talk, I would have done that. I talked to him about it. I said, would you like that if you told your car, brand new car, it's a new policy, but they would pay only for half the value of the car? Well, that's different.
It's exactly. So I mean, that kind of brings up one of the questions I had. Tell a story about a good one. Someone who's done it well and someone who hasn't. So maybe Jason, you could build upon that and tell us, a company that's come to you and said, well, and maybe
there's a global custodian bank that we've worked with that's been out front on different applications of blockchain, and they worked with a host of different companies a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, and there was a lot more infancy around the different use cases of blockchain for things such as them, when their primary goal was how to custody money across borders with real-time settlement. And there was a company we met with 2 different times, and each of the visits, they had a totally different value prop and a totally different advantage. And then I said, guys, like, what do? Do you sell hot dogs or hamburgers? Because you can't sell both. The grill's not big enough, right? And they said, no, just come back. We're going to figure this out. And
so from your standpoint, do you have time to take this meeting twice?
Here's the thing. I said, I'll come back by myself. I'll see what you guys have done. And they aligned on the value prop, and they raised around in excess of $45 million. And they do the one thing now, and they sell hot dogs really, really well, and that's Ripple.
Okay.
So for a while, they had a lot of different use cases. They finally realized they needed to decide who they wanted to be when they grew up. And they did it really well. Someone that did it really poorly is a 3-person team that pitched a very small community bank, and I kind of took them on as a favor to them. Like, each side kind of needed a favor. Community bank didn't have a real innovation office, wanted to see something. I was like, guys, like, this is an innovation theater, but I can introduce you to a company. And they came in and they basically told these guys that they could help their underwriting for business loans, personal loans, auto, and they could also talk to them about a PFM. There's a 3-person team. I was like, well, that's interesting. How can you do that?
Yeah, so not realistic.
No knowledge, and it was.
How did they even get to this? Like, so.
How'd they get past the front door?
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I did a bad job.
Yeah, how to reach?
Because I mean, it was so hard to get these
I'll tell you the truth on that one. So, classic example where it's actually it's on the client. It's not on the startup. So the client is coming a last minute trip, and they need this, and you scramble.
Okay.
And you send out 30 emails, and you get 30 decks, and you flip through 30 decks, and 7 shake out, and you call 7 people and ask for a meeting. And the problem there is that I look like the schmuck, like, full stop. And so
don't make you look like a schmuck.
I don't think you'd want to look like a schmuck.
I don't think anybody
wants. I don't think you want to look like a schmuck. So, like, if you can't do something, I guess the point, I'll stop talking. The point is, if you can't do something, don't say you can do it because someone says, can you?
Yeah.
That's the point I was getting at. And if you can do something, double down on it if it's your competitive advantage.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think, sorry, I was just going to say one more thing just to dovetail on that, because you know, in my startup, you know, we have a service that, you know, technically can support a lot of different use cases. What we have found, some of it through a little bit of trial and error as we go through it, you know, we, depending on who we're talking to, we've you know, either come in and said it's very specifically can do this use case. If we know it's a wealth management group that we're talking to, we go in there and, you know, we dummy up content and show them a visual of what this could look like if they're talking to people about planning for retirement. Other cases, though, we're going in and talking to like a generalist who's just part of a, you know, a broad, maybe corporate level innovation or strategy team that covers the bank, and we got to, you know, maybe show them more examples. And so, you know, you take a risk, right? So sometimes you have to feel that out, but I think the challenge is as a founder is that you want to show them all the things you can do, because sometimes you're not exactly sure what they're going to bite on. And so you got to balance that with what you're saying, which is you don't want to sound like you have 2 totally different value propositions that have nothing to do with each other. But sometimes you feel, especially when you're trying to get that kind of, you know, that early hook, that you don't want to sell yourself short. So I would say, just having now been on the other side as well, it is a bit of a balancing act, and I really appreciate that now. You know, having come from sitting in kind of your seat, and you know, now sitting in all of your seat, saying, okay, well, how do you do this? But you know, you waited how long to get that meeting? You just want to give it your best shot. So I would say there's a finesse to it, but try to go in with, you know, as specific as you can, so that they can, you know, really internalize and grasp the use case. And maybe you go in with a lead use case or 2 use cases, and then if you see something bubbling up else in the meeting, then you can, you know, you can start to talk about how you'd service that, but go in with something pretty concrete so that they can understand what you're doing.
So I'm just gonna pose one kind of final question, and then we'll open it up to questions and let's do some one-on-one with the companies to make the best use of our time. But we started with Bill, just basic, like, if you could tell, let's pretend you're sitting in a room with startups What advice would you give them when they're approaching you, best tips and practices? Just sort of, what are the, one thing you'd like a startup to know before they come to approach you?
Be concise in what you do, kind of what you're saying. Cut through the pieces that aren't really relevant. Be open to feedback, because we do a lot of mentoring. Some of it's formal, some of it's less formal, and it tells you about the individual. Are they willing to listen and adjust? And then there's that balance. Are they willing to be anything you want them to be? We'll do that too. Know your audience. It's interesting. I was at a 500 Startups Pitch Fest a few months ago, and there was a startup insurance person, and their first line was, "Insurance companies suck." And their last was, "If there's any insurance companies that like to invest, leave that to the table." And insurance companies know that they've got problems. Most legacy businesses have problems, and insurance companies. There's a lot better ways to say it than that. So know your audience. Make it relevant. Demonstrate the value proposition very clearly, and differentiate yourselves and your product and your services from others, because people you're pitching to or talking to have talked to lots of other people in that general space. How are you and your product service going to stand out and be memorable?
I'll throw a couple on top of that. In most cases, you don't need 5 slides about who you are. In most cases, you don't need 5 slides about why this problem. You need to lead with the message and then support it, more than lead with the support for the message. So think about like when you're doing this, like again, soundbite, like you're on the TV news, someone will say, "It's not a ban because that's your word, not our word," right? And they're not saying, "Well, if you look up the word in the dictionary and give me the proof points." That's number 1. Number 2 is be really conscious, to your point, about who your audience is. And more than just who your audience is, the fact that in a meeting with an incumbent in any industry, there are going to likely be folks who got roped in at the very last minute, or someone who hasn't read their briefing materials because they're too busy. So make sure that you start and level set for somebody who has never heard of you before quickly, so that people know where we're starting from a similar baseline. Even if you've already done a mini pitch to someone else on the team that's sitting there that you've already given a spiel to, they're doing you the solid by getting you in the door, but now it's up to you, to your point. And the last thing that I would say is know your market. So I don't know if you've experienced this in your old role, in your current role, when you ask people who their competitors are and draw the differentiation, and they can't talk about the technology, they can't talk about the business model, they can't talk about the product itself. And if you can't tell us why you're better than the people we're also talking to,
probably will.
I had one last week that says we don't look at our competitors.
Yeah, that's a great recipe.
Yeah, or any acknowledgement that they're good. I think that's the other
Right.
thing too,
Yeah.
is that there clearly are good solutions, and
That's
then
right.
there are incumbents that have fantastic solutions. In many cases, that's why they're in
Right.
the position they're in. And so acknowledging that is actually a really important part of the process, I think.
Can I add one thing to that last part? I sort of like to say that it was, we're going to come eat your lunch, and now it's, we're asking you to lunch. Where
So where do you think that change is coming from? Just market dynamics,
you
or?
can't scale. If you want to sell a hybrid advice platform to Henrys or high net worth individuals, you can't do it only direct. People are trying direct to consumer, and one of the 2 big ones is succeeding, and one of the 2 is not.
So my thesis has always been about the stuff that I do is always about corporate partnerships, right? To live in, to really succeed in this market. At some point, you're going to need to partner with, work with, sell to, the incumbents. They're not your enemy. Like I've always tried to build that into the DNA of what I do.
They have a lot of the same goals and aspirations you do, to get a leg up on their competitors, to have a differentiated product. And so there's an alignment there that is, I think, more clear than it initially meets the eye.
One thing I wanted to mention, and you asked this earlier before we started, who are you meeting with? Are you meeting with the right person? That's really important. But don't go shopping. Don't contact 3 and 4 people of the same company trying to find the right way in. Start with one, and if that is a dead end, then you can go somewhere else. But the shotgun approach almost always fails. And when you get a no, don't go looking for a yes from somebody else, because they're going to meet up somewhere, and after you've reinvested, they say, I told that person no, and here's all the issues.
Yeah.
Don't shop.
Well, one other thing I add to that though is sometimes, it does take months to get responses, and so you think maybe a lead is, stalled, and so you do reach out to someone else, or someone else comes along and says, hey, I'll introduce you to another part of, the enterprise company that you're going after. So what I would say about that is, if you do end up in that situation, be really, really sort of transparent and clear. Oh, by the way, that's great. I'm really glad to meet you, but I'm also, by the way, I've contacted this other person, because then I think it's okay because you've connected the dots, or even start to CC them.
Email. Hey, John, nice to meet you. I'm adding Joe or Susie, who I met 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Just so that they know where things are going.
Yeah, because interestingly, a lot of times they haven't even realized that they've got 2 initiatives going that are parallel in the same organization.
So I'm going to open it up to questions and then field my own. So the first question I have along those lines is, how do you map an organization? What would be your recommendation? How do you do that? Because from the outside, right, as startups and people,
Can I question to the folks here?
Yes.
So who are your buyers?
Small business owners.
Okay. And if you were to try to distribute through some channel, and I know I picked the wrong one for this question, but I think I'm also good online.
We're all
trying to think who would be best. Potentially like a mirror with what he's doing, right?
So it's like who are your buyers, right?
Credit unions, community banks, or regional banks. And our product is scalable, so we can sell it to a bank here, a bank in Uruguay, or any country, fully customizable and scalable.
What's the cost of your time to chase a lead in Uruguay?
For now, it's just to let our pension intend to show to the VC and pick up $2 million. Sure. That's for the main issue, main kind of focuses on, but mostly it's just, we're not going to go anywhere or go anywhere
VC is
for
going to
now.
ask you this question though. Like, what are you going to do with the LOI from your?
Yeah, just it feels good to get wins, but like.
Well, this is strategy. Well, I'm not going to tell the same thing we see.
Well, sure. Would you have a good answer?
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if you got a 3-person company and any inbound click from somebody doing research in their incumbent organization, it feels good, but be sure that you don't always take the first person that wants to dance.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just, because I've been in this situation, and mine came from, the Middle East, when I got the unaided call, right? And we don't operate in the Middle East, and we probably are never going to operate in the Middle East. But it was really nice to get the call. Mine didn't come with a $2 million check on day one. So what I'd say though is that may be really, if it's an easy one, that one that's real and is coming in, that's fantastic. If you can service it, because sometimes the hardest part is after you close the deal and figuring out how to service it. But if you think that you are in a good place to do that, that might be a great way to bring in $2 million to help fund the rest of your business. Then I think, because the way I kind of took your question was, well, maybe it's not the one you got in hand, but how do you take the next one?
For sure.
And I'll then put it back on me, which was I go back to this example I had from the Middle East. And there was no way I was going to be able to ever service it. I had someone who was very interested came to me, and I had to do little to no work to get it. I just had to agree to join the meeting. And I decided that that's just not where we operate. So instead tried to connect him to other people, because if he got his problem solved, maybe he might remember me and might be able to connect me to other people. Because the other thing I found was, you don't want to set yourself up, for kind of a known situation of the failure, or once you sign that big contract, even if it's a big one, it could really just drain your resources and ultimately burn out your people and kill your business in other places. The other was, though, that I'll just say is that, some of my best leads have come from the most unlikely places. And so being good to those people who you've bumped into along the way have paid out in spades, at least I've found. So that's my 2 cents.
Two things. How do we get on your email list so that when you meet those people, you can get the email?
Let's talk after. The consulting question, the answer to every question is it depends.
No,
So it depends.
The second part is, so for any startup, sending out emails to connect is the biggest part. How do we find these innovation officers or whatever to build a list for email or potential clients if you have some?
Boy, I mean, you can purchase lists. You can register for one big conference, pay that fee to register one time and get a list of all the attendees with titles and email addresses, or at least titles and names. I know that, like, for example, we don't sponsor Money 2020, but we go every year, and I now have a downloadable list of 7,000 attendees and their email addresses, which if I was building a business would be worth the cost of admission.
Yeah.
That's one way. Another way is the old-fashioned way, which is the phone book or the LinkedIn book.
Right. Yeah, I've done both of those.
Yeah.
I started with a good set of people to get going, who then connected me to others. But I've absolutely gone to to conferences or events. I have, we were a bootstrapped company, so we didn't have, we still don't have resources to pay for things like Money 2020. Just as an attendee, a couple $1,000s and in going to a conference just isn't in the budget. And so instead, what we try to do is we try to go to meetups. We try to get on, groups. I did the Silicon Valley Innovation Center that you were part of, and some of those are a little bit smaller, but that's a great example of one that was a couple $100 for 2 days. I think I netted a half dozen good contacts from it at quality places that turned into something. So yeah, I mean, you never know, but I'll tell you, I've been to plenty of meetups that, I mean, not even the pizza was probably worth the drive and the parking. But you gotta take a couple of those to know. So I would say, if you can do that, great. I mean, RSA is here with 40,000 plus people.
If you're not taking advantage of RSA this week, you need to do with security.
Yeah.
Just stand on the corner of the sandwich.
And quite frankly, anyone doing anything in financial services has something to do with security, so it's probably a good call.
Benjamin.
Oh, yeah, Jason and Bill, can you talk to me a little bit about the last time that you realized in the course of a business relationship with a scrappy startup that this startup is actually worth either taking a risk on, or this is something that we actually need? And then likewise, can you then talk about it from the other side and talk about when it was that you realized in the eyes of your corporate peer that they actually were willing to engage with you?
When one person immediately comes to mind when you describe them that way, and this woman has a water leak detection company, and she's had numerous corporate jobs, numerous startups. She's probably my age, and the way she interacts is so trusting, and she's in the business. I can tell she's in the business for the right reasons, not because she wants a rich exit, because she's had family members who had catastrophic water losses in their home. She has a technological background. She understands water dynamics. She has some friends who can build the technology and put it all together, and she can run the business. And she's just so trusting, open, candid, and the interpersonal relationship on top of having a solid business plan and the right, very small, cozy team, it just feels like someone you'd want to do business with.
Right. At the risk of using the same type of story, I think that one thing you'll find is people who have done it before, or people that know the industry, are a lot easier to take chances on. So there's a company called InvestCloud that isn't super well known among the readers of TechCrunch or
Yeah.
startup blogs, but they provide a massively needed service, which is to help RIAs better serve their clients and better run their businesses and make them more efficient, because fund managers have a horrible time dealing with their internal software. The legacy systems are terrible. And it was a small team. They were founded in a garage. It was in Beverly Hills, but it was a garage nonetheless. And we signed a global deal with them to help them build and scale their solution. We're selling it with them to our clients around the world. And the team was not the flashiest object, and it wasn't the one that was getting the buzz, but it had the right people that knew the industry and that needed a distribution facility to compete with the folio dynamics of the world that have been in business for 30 years with the same platform. This is from the ground up. So it was finding a market that was massive, that wasn't sexy, but that really needed a change.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to see that happen, for our company. Definitely. And but I'll give you kind of sort of a slightly different view, which is, as I'd mentioned, because having come from industry, I definitely, had the ability to get some of those meetings. When we get in there, we actually have a really unique solution, and there's a growing interest in the space that we're in, and we've got a pretty cool product, right? And we can go in there, we can talk to business, we understand the use cases, we understand the regulatory environment. We were talking about reporting requirements before getting in here. Is a great example. It's not just even about the core product, but it's also about the whole, what is the business transformation that has to happen around your software, in order to scale it, really to even get it adopted and get it scaled. And in our case, there is a lot of change management around our software that has to happen within the institutions in order for it to be successful. And a lot of that is more out of our control. And so getting to that piece sometimes can be challenging. So for us, it's understanding the environment that you're in. And then the second piece of it, which has been definitely an uphill climb, is that we are bootstrapped, and we've had the success of making it to the short list against companies like Cisco, which we feel great about, but we don't always win. And we don't win because we're not Cisco. And sometimes when they're talking about something that's so transformational, they're not willing to bet their careers, the people who are running the RFP, on the startup. So we bumped into that too.
Can I add to that for a second?
Yeah.
So one thing I should have said is don't bet on someone who won't bet on you. And so there are a lot of people, if you think about a bank, there are a lot of people with big bloated divisions and big budgets that your solutions can obliterate their power center, because you can make their team more efficient and cause them to lay people off or reorg and lose budget and lose influence. So it might look on paper like your interests should be aligned, but that's not always the case. So try, if you can suss that out in your first or second meeting, to see if someone is going to bet on you the way you're going to bet on them. Because if you have a team of 5 people, you're making a bet to try to do an integration, even in a pilot with a large FI. It's a huge bet. It's a bet of your time, but you can't get back. And so the thing that we tell our clients, and candidly that I have to tell all the folks across PwC that don't know how to talk startup, is that you can't waste people's time.
Yeah.
And so
yes, please make that message.
you can't, I mean, you try, and some people abuse it, and some people, just like incumbents, think because I'm a partner at a big 4 that startup shall bow down and do what I ask, and that's not how it works. And so make sure that you're going to have people that will bet on you the way you're going to bet on them.
Good advice. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it up here. For those of you who still have some time, if you would like to do some one-on-one
Really
with our
valuable comments. Thank you.
startups. But yeah, in general, thank you very much, guys, for coming out. We really appreciate you guys donating your time.
I'll get my card. Yeah, sure. I'll take care of it. Oh, thank you. Do you work with Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've met Steve a couple times.
Steve Harris.
Yeah.
He's now in the city on Central Project.
Ah, okay.
But one family.
Got it.
We're talking about.
Even the first time.
Right, should we stop this one?
God, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
plan
no,
out
we should, so we can't